Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm back. I'm live. I'm in the hot seat. And I am Kev Baker. I'm coming to you live from Smart City, Glasgow, in the heartland of Bonnie, Scotland. And we're going all the way to Australia. Great people down there listening in. Wonderful people back up in Alaska as well. And then we go over to Norway, various other places like Poland, Germany, Belgium even. I've had contact from Belgium before here on the show. And then we go all the way back to the US and Nebraska and all of the great states that are listening live over there today. One of our last shows of 2020, not the last show, but one of them. Tomorrow, we are going to have the amazing Nano Girl with us here on the show live. But tonight, this is really synchronistic how it's worked out. I can't think of two guests that would flow better together than what we have coming up today and then tomorrow with the Nano Girl. Because tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a look at 2021 and the signs in the stars and the heavens with who has become a very good friend of mine and the show, Mary Dusina. Now, if anyone out there hasn't heard of Mary before, she has blown me and most of you away as well in her two previous visits to the show. She was born on Halloween and she done her first psychic call-in show back in the 1980s in the Tampa area. Now, that was the 1980s, not the 1880s. I think I made it sound wrong there. But she is live here with us today. And if you want to check out Mary's website, all you have to do is go to marydusina.com. And that's Mary, DUSINA.com. Does tarot readings. She gets into metaphysical stuff. We get into a whole load of woo. And listening back to the last show I done with Mary, Mary, I have to apologise because sometimes, I go way too fanboy. I really do. And I sound like an excited... I was listening to myself today. I was cringing. I'm going, oh, Kev, you're not meant to get so excited. You're meant to keep it level. You're meant to bring out the best in the guest. But I tell you, when you come on, Mary, you bring a vibrance with you, an energy,
thank you.
a frequency, and I love it. I like it. I like the vibe you bring to the place. So I hope you had a brilliant Christmas. Much love from me and my family here.
I had a nice, easy, quiet one, Kev, just the way I liked it with my beloved rescue dog, Miss Thang, Lulu, who's also, by the way, because I found out from her owner, was born on Halloween night, which I did not know when I went to rescue her in May of 2018, when I happened just to say to him, by the way, since you had puppies, do you happen to know what the birth date of this dog is? Because I've rescued dogs for over 25 years. I'm like the Snow White, Ellie Mae animal whisperer gal, so I never get to know their birth date, their specific birth date. This is over in Georgia, in the United States, and I said, I'm just curious if you had a batch of puppies, and she's the last one. He goes, oh, yeah, she was born Halloween night, I remember, and I'm like, oh, she's meant to be mine.
Absolutely. I can't think of a more appropriate birthday.
Can you believe it?
No, it's just synchronistic, right? Very synchronistic.
Well, and I want to key back to your own innate natural intuitiveness. Number one, I thoroughly enjoy listening to Nano Girl with you, so bravo, shout out, homage to Nano Girl. I will be listening. I really enjoy her. She's got a natural flow of authenticity to her, and I appreciate that in people. And so, yay, I'm glad I get to be next to her. And the other thing, when you use the word vibrance, 2021, we're going to get our mojo and our vibrance summoning back. It's like the supernatural is going to have, for all signs, before we get into specifics, we had to be force-fed a lot of reality checks in 2020, all of us. Obviously it was the year of smack-in-your-face visioning, and we at first were in a different type of shock and resistance and just shock and fear. Now that we settled back down, in several places around the globe have had 1 or 2 or 3 lockdowns, some worse than others, but we've all had to feel that push back by earthly reality bites versus what our personal desire to explore and travel and get on a plane and go to this country and have seminars and meet up and ceremonies with groups of people. So this full moon tonight, 2020 opened with the full moon in her harbor sign, the oceanic sign of Cancer, the crab, all about the feels, all about the feels, not about the woo, all about the feels. And we're closing this year as we come up on New Year's Eve, Kev. We're closing this year with the moon in her. The moon has parked her lunar shine over the oceans, and the oceanic crabs, all the crustaceans, the crayfish and the shrimps and the crabs and the hard shells and the turtles of the ocean, they're all like, yes, yes, it's our mother, it's our grandmother moon, as the native indigenous people say over here. It's grandmother moon, and she's at her finest and she's at her strongest. So how you win when times have been tough and shook us to the core. I don't know anybody in 2020 that didn't get riveted, actually, in one way or another. But what we now have bounced back with, because we're spirit walking around in our earthly temple, what our spirit has now had happen to it is that riveting and that shock and awe has now brought us back to, all right, I'll admit, I had gotten complacent with the people and the true things that mattered in my life. I was so busy chasing the material world externally, coming and going and multitasking and this or that, and there's so, I'll speak for myself, there's so much that I unknowingly perhaps was taking for granted. You know, just the human contact, going to a concert, meeting people up for dinner. You know, so many restaurants closed. And this full moon is making us really realize the celebrations of Thanksgiving and Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and all around the world. It's like we want our own. You know, we love our animals, but I want to sit next to Kev. I want to go over there to the other crews that were. I want to be able to break bread and pour the communion wine and celebrate this life. So for me, it has refined my priorities. Yeah, this full moon is the way you win in the celestial holistic way, the way that you win, and it doesn't have to cost you any money. If you just listen to experienced mystics and astrologers, we'll give it away for free on these shows. The way you win, this is a water ocean, it's Mother Ocean. It's oceans of emotions. So whether you realize it or not, we are at high tide with our feelings. This is all about the feelings overflowing. So what would you put, here's the medicine, what would you put as you pour the wine? Actually, I poured elderflower liqueur. What would you pour in your goblet of grace? What would you pour and ask the lights of love and the vibrations and frequencies of glory, of the supernatural glory? Summon it, invite it, and say something akin to this. As I close out 2020, great almighty I am, angelic armies of light, I now ask, knowing as I ask, I'm willing to receive. I summon and I ask that any and all uninvited influences or energies are now released to the next levels of love's light. I choose instead to be in harmony, to be upgraded and empowered by the vibratory frequencies of all that is resplendent in the continents of my soul, my mind, and my body. I accept my wellness. I know that my prosperity is my miraculous good health, and I allow it.
Wow. Now, Mary, just hopefully you can clear this up for us, but the full moon in Cancer, yes, because we've got a listener saying it appears to be in Gemini when you look at the sky. What would you say to that?
There's two. It's true. I am a mystic that for over 30 plus years have enjoyed the Western astrology aspect, the Vedic or the sidereal astrology. It kind of goes a sign back, you know, in the Vedic or the sidereal. It's as if you see, astrology is geocentric. So it's from the point of me walking out on my Mother Earth and looking up at the sky. So as far as the constellations go, and there are people that enjoy Vedic and sidereal astrology, but Western astrology has worked for me. So I always say to someone, I'm not going to say your way is wrong at all. That's too judgmental. I'm going to tell you that to test it. So here's the way a student can test it. Look at your own birth chart. Like right now, if you're a Cancer, Cancer moon, Cancer rising, take note of today, tonight, and tomorrow. Do you feel more intuitive? Are your dreams stronger? Do you feel this flow of emotions? Because if it's stronger, as the Gemini, I look at the signs like 12 spices and flavors. The spice or the enhancement flavor of Gemini is all in your head. It's cerebral. You want to write, you want to read, you want the internet. You can't get your eyes off the technology. It's like one of those nights where you're watching YouTubes and you're on Twitter and you're watching the TV and it's just like a marathon Netflix or Hulu or something. That's Gemini, multitasking. But Cancer, no. I mean, I can feel it. I have the sign of Cancer moon child strong on my chart, and I can feel the richness of the intuition. I feel as my earthly vessel that my body on this full moon is now the communion cup, and it is my responsibility with my earth-based incarnational mind to set my intentions, to state my affirmations about what I am willing to let go of in 2020 and what I'm willing to emotionally, intimately, in my love life, in my pleasure pursuits, in my allowing of desire and pleasure, I'm calling that in under this full moon. So for me, tonight and tomorrow are about soft moments, the core pleasures of this life, my feet in the sand, walking through my beloved mountains and the woods, the creatures that I telepathically have communion with and that I feed and nurture, my beloved rescued animals, the times I've had to release them and let them leave their earthly body, which is very riveting for me because I am truly an animal person. I am a nature goddess, and I love the animals, both woodland, wild, oceanic, and the ones that choose me to be my antennas of prosperity. Any seemingly rejected, abandoned, or abused animal that's come into my life, plenty of cats, birds, dogs that have come into my life, they are absolutely antennas of empowerment and healing. They take the hit for us emotionally, sometimes physically, when we're going through the high tides and the low tides of life. So long answer, but I appreciate Vedic astrology. I listen to Vedic astrologers. It's just not my groove. I appreciate siderealist. I understand it. And there's all kinds of different astrologers, older, younger, novice, experienced, and I appreciate I know what hard work it is, so I appreciate all the disciplines, but when you tune in with me, when you get your overview readings, when you get your natal chart, I take a star journey with you. I'm like the pirate that invites you on the celestial ship. We go across the ocean of stars, and I'm talking to you about fire, earth, air, water. And I got to tell you, after 30-plus years, people say that I really know how to read their charts. So I think it goes like this. If someone leans in to the sidereal or the Vedic type of astrology, good. Follow that astrologer. Let those kind of astrologers read your chart. Bravo. Salute. But if the Western works for you, it does for me. And it's proved itself over time. 30 years plus, I've pretty well put it to the test. Then I'm good with it. So again, no judgment, but I'm happy with what I do. And I'll push back on anybody that says, well, your way isn't real. Yeah, you know what? Here's what's going on about astrology right now. Any Western astrologer is taking it into 5D. Like, I'll give you a little hint. Experienced astrologers are teaching their students, their clients, about how in your birth chart, the nativity, in your birth portrait, in the portrait of your soul's incarnational lessons, your earth school incarnational soul challenges and enhancements, Chiron, and I take it back to Greek and Roman mythology, Chiron, which the shape, the symbol, the glyph of Chiron is a key. And so if you want to get into the nitty-gritty of what is this lifetime's woundedness, where might I be carrying in my subconscious and my deeper self, as Bruce Lipton talks about, Dr. Lipton, in my cellular memory, where might I be carrying an old wound? Now, for me, that will include past life. For me, that will include taught by many medicine men and shamans, my former walkabouts. I'm okay with that, believing that my soul is ever evolving. So the key, wherever you have Chiron in your birth map, in your nativity, in your star map, whatever sign it's in, the element, fire, earth, air, water, and whatever house, zone, region that it's in your birth chart is an absolute way to unlock yourself and know quite specifically where your ancient woundedness, the generational curses, if any, not cast them out on anybody, if any, the lineage of your family, the hard things for your relatives to get over, whether it was alcoholism or people tend to have like this handed down with health issues. Oh, my dad had it, my mom had it, I had it. You know, the abandonment, the rejection, the bullying, whatever it was. When you go and you look at Chiron, and I'll help you, go do your research yourself instead of taking my word for it. Go back and read about the centaurs in Greek mythology. Go back and read the story of Chiron and how Chiron was the child of Kronos, Saturn.
So, Mary, can I jump in here because this is weird, right? It's synchronistic because the past two times that you've been on, I've been meaning to ask you something. And now's perfect because you're taking us back to Greek philosophy, things like this. Can I ask you, where did the information about the planets, the effects that they have on us, where did they originate from, Mary? When did they, I mean, who put it together? I mean, you saying we've got the Vedic astrology, we've got other types. How far back do we go? When was all this put together? And it's not to try and catch you out or anything. It's just I was speaking to a friend.
No, it's a beautiful question. It's one that I've endeavored to do since I was 14 years old and started my journey of appreciating the magic of stars. You know, the language of stars.
Yeah.
I felt very strong with the Persian. I don't care if it's Iran now. I felt very strong with the Persian, the Chaldean, the Babylonian, the Mesopotamia, the Egyptians. I mean, these ancient cultures. The Anasazi, as far as the Native American, the First Nations people in this country, they talk about the star ancestors. The Anasazi, when you go to the Hopi and the Anasazi, and all the 10 years that I took literally to keep going out to Taos and Santa Fe and to get with those people that understood the star people and to take it around all the cultures. I mean, in the Greek, what helped me, and I say with students, when you want to kind of learn the flavoring of the planets, go ahead and make it easy on yourself and read about Zeus was Jupiter and Saturn is Kronos, and go read those Greek myths. And Mars was the Lord of War, and Venus was Aphrodite. Venus in Roman and Aphrodite in Greek, and go look at these legends and these myths, both of the constellations. Like I look up. Like if you look up a zodiac sign, talking about Sidereal, if you look up a zodiac sign, let's say you're born under the sign of Aries, then go on to while it's free, but basically when you've got some kind of free reign on the internet, even though you're paying for it, of course, go look up the myths and the legends and the stars in the constellation of Aries. Go look that up. If you're an Aries, go look it up. If you're a Cancer or an Aquarius, go look it up. You'll start to see the legends and the myths of why are those, like to your question, why are those stars in Sagittarius? Why are those stars in Libra? How did Libra get the harp? How did this or that, where is Sirius the great star? And why is the galactic center around 26, 27 degrees of Sagittarius of the Milky Way? How fascinating is that? Kev, it doesn't come alive for you by just listening to someone teach you about it. You need to do it yourself. You need to put boots on the ground and eyes on the page, whether it's a book or the internet, and you need to dive in. You need to dive. It's interesting, the phone that's beeping, I'm sure it's an innocuous call, but what's funny is that to me is how Spirit is making an emphasis point. any kind of noise distractions. If I'm reading for someone when I had my office in Florida, or at the phone, if any kind of odd noises or disconnects happen, I'll say to people, that spirit putting in an exclamation point, pay attention, pay attention. So Kev, how complicated astrology can be. People can get so technical and so mathematical, but the person's eyes are just spinning back in their head. To me, I'm a mystic first, and I learned astrology. So as a mystic, I want those stories, those myths and those legends. They're like walking oracle cards. They're like, Jupiter this year is prominent, so Zeus is prominent this year. It's very prominent this year. Uranus is very prominent this year. So I don't care if I've studied it over 30 years. I'm going back, even at this juncture, with fresh eyes, and I'm going to read again about Uranus. I'm going to read again about Zeus. He was the hotshot god in the Greek pantheon. I'm going to reread it again. I'm going to bring it alive in my end of 2020, beginning of 2021 timeline, because time is an illusion. We're all time travelers, and no matter what I studied 30 years ago or 14 years ago, I want it to come present with my current consciousness and speak to my soul again.
I like it. I like it. Thank you for taking time out to explain that, Mary. It's myself and a friend, we'd been discussing this because we're really into this information.
Yes.
However, we were both kind of looking at each other thinking, but where does it come from originally? So I thank you for breaking that down there.
Oh, I'm no expert.
No, but that's
history.
what I like. I prefer honesty as opposed to somebody, like you say, baffling us with things that's just going to leave my eyes rolling into the back of my head. I like it. Yeah.
So when I hear a person that spent their whole life studying Egyptology. I loved the Egyptian Book of the Dead. When I was 16, I read that going, oh my God, I love this. When I started reading about, I've always been fascinated and really mesmerized, hypnotically seduced by stars and constellations and legends and mythology. It's all been a dance. It's all been a concert that has upgraded my consciousness. I mean, I remember being 5 years old, just laying out on the carport in the mountains of Tennessee going, how do I get back home? This is kind of a nice place, but I'm not from here. How do I get back home? So I just literally, I knew at 5 years old. I didn't have that figured out in my head then, but I had a knowing, as a child has a knowing, before they learn all the earth languages and rules and don't do this and do that. I would lay outside on the concrete, staring up at the stars when the weather permitted, because we were surrounded by acres of woods, and I would look at the stars, and I could feel that the stars were eyes, and that the stars were literally sending energy into me. Now, did I have all the words for that? No. But here's what I called it as a child. I got to go outside, Mom. I got to get my star bath. What? My parents were like, what? No, I can't go to bed. I have to go out and take my star bath. Okay, you got 30 minutes. And I would just go out there and lay, didn't fall asleep, closed my eyes. Sometimes I would open my eyes and stare, but Kevin, I could feel it. And to this day, I remember that child self that was being encoded and upgraded. And sometimes I would be a little sad, and I would say to the stars, I miss you. How do I get to you? And I would always come back with, it's okay. We're here. We watch you. We light up the dark. And it wasn't a scared of the dark thing. My God, I was outside all the time. I had no fear of the woods or creatures or anything. But when I read in my 20s, I'd walked into a Hallmark card shop in a mall, and I read they had this new line of cards, and there was some card that had like an Eskimo-looking scene on that. And I didn't even know that the Eskimo tribes were like the Inuit. hadn't studied any of that. And on the back of the card, it talked about the Inuit tribes of the Eskimo regions, the Eskimo peoples and those regions up there, always believed the stars were your ancestors and your beloveds looking down upon you, keeping watch over you. And I'm like, okay, I know that. There it is. And I'm sitting there going, wow, talk about synchronicity. And that's literally from the Eskimos to the Anasazi to the Taos Pueblo to our beautiful Australia, New Zealand, to you go to Greece. I mean, there's a global knowing that rocks our soul, that has to do with the moon and the stars and sunsets and the dawning of another day, no matter what's going on with our health, no matter what's going on with our love life, no matter what's going on. There's something about if you're hurting and you're lonely and something has collapsed you, fractured your soul, broken your spirit, the moon. Whether it's a crescent moon or the full moon, the moon and the stars, I promise you, just get outside and ask it to help you.
Now, we are hard on a break here, unfortunately, folks. Now, what we're going to do is, during the break, I'm going to check that the phones, I can add the phones. And then we'll come back on the other side and we'll get more from Mary Dusina. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Special guest today is Mary Dusina. This is her third appearance on the show, and every time she's been on, I find myself in listener mode. Sometimes I forget I'm hosting the show because I get that absorbed, that engrossed in what I'm hearing. So if that happens today, folks, hey, don't shoot the host. It's just because I really enjoy what we're getting into here. And I urge you all, check out Mary. Mary, let people know when they can hear you with Joe Roop over on Fringe FM. Give Lighting the Void a shout out, if you will.
Thank you so much. I appear, and I have for 2.5 years, with Joe Roop on his network, which is thefringefm.com. But his show, he and I get together each new moon. The next one will be January the 14th. I invite you all, and you too, Kev, call in. And the first hour is our astrological overview of that month, because I appear every month. And then we open up the lines. It's a late night show. Over here in the Eastern time zone, it's midnight that I start the show. So I'm on from midnight to 2 a.m. on my time zone, live. And so I wanted to do that, on lightingthevoid.com at the new moons, because when I did my shows in Florida, when I did my shows in various states, I liked the evening because I find that people get that monkey mind, and they have a hard time sleeping. Blink, 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 blink. They're overthinking. They've got OCD. They wish they could change something, but they don't know how. And that's what Joe Roop and I together, we try to pull the tarot and let them call in. And I tell them, and I'm telling your audience, Joe and I prioritize the people that call, but more than the chat, more than the emails, more than the text or Twitter. Those that call have priority. And I tell them, use a fake name. Just make up a name, because it's not your name, and it's, just call in and say, hi, it's Buzz Lightyear. I mean, that's not my telepathy works with the voice vibrations, so I'm really not even listening to their name except to be polite and to address them. So use initials, use a fake name, but that way the caller, your audience, your listeners, and Joe and I have found this, it takes that anxiety away of, oh my God, I don't want to say my name on the air, and they record it and they put it up on YouTube. So we've given them permission to use just made-up names, pet names, made-up names, initials, whatever, because the core is them being able to get that truly empowerment message from their higher guides working through my higher guides, and it comes through very quick with me. And so what they're supposed to hear is what I'll give them. I don't censor it. I don't try to control it or manipulate it. And they love calling in knowing that they can get some kind of enlightenment beam, to help them then take it back to their own desk, take it back to their own dreams, to their own walkabout, and work with it for that next month. So like you and I are working with full moons, Joe and I chose the new moon because that was the seeds of new beginnings at the lunation when the sun and moon are married in the same sign. That's the new moon. At the full moon, which is, about 2 weeks after a new moon, that's when we get, if you play it savvy, that's when you can see where you might be at odds with yourself or whatever is like the stick in the bicycle wheel that's not letting it go forward, So it's the full moon can teach us and reach us and say, this is where you're going against yourself. This is where you're avoiding the confrontation you need to have. This is where you're getting entangled in a deceptive web. So don't self-sabotage. Be willing to look a little deeper and pause that reaction, because it's a full moon, pause that overreaction and instead go in. However you pray or do ceremony or meditate or, most people have been running with time with themselves. And 2020, Kev, has certainly made us have to look in the mirror twice.
Oh, you are right there. Now, for all of you great people out there, the phone lines are officially opened. And we want to hear from you. I know this is a very big part and makes some great content for Mary and Joe over on Lighting the Void. I'm looking forward to hearing from the KBS audience what you've got to tell them. But if people want to phone in, and I encourage you, as does Mary, and we'll make you the star of the show. We'll break away from anything we're talking about. We'll bring you in. And the number you need is 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. And Mary, would you believe it? We've already got people queuing up on the phone lines. I knew this would happen. I knew it. Okay, so first up, we are going to go to Santa Ana in California. That's area code 714. Welcome to the show. You're on with Mary.
Hi, this is Casey.
What's your name, sorry?
Happy New Year.
Hi, Happy New Year. My name is Casey.
Hey, Casey, it's really nice to speak to you. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you're going to have a brilliant New Year. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pass you over to Mary, and I'll leave you two ladies to talk about it.
First off, I want to honor and thank you. I want to thank you, Casey, for taking time in your life walk to connect up with us and Kev on this full moon in Cancer. So I want to tell you that I feel like with you, and you can ask one question in a minute, but I feel like with you that there's been an amplification of your desire and your interest to enhance your own intuitive abilities, to start maybe working with some type of faction of training yourself of what's just the head voice and what's like your deeper spirit, your soul calling. So I feel like there's going to be something that you're going to mystically or holistically embrace. I've deliberately walked the highway of herbs and oils and color meanings and numbers and all of that, because when you dip your toe into a lot of different areas, Casey, you'll all of a sudden your soul will go, ooh, I love tarot, ooh, I love animals, ooh, I love oils, and so you can have more than one, absolutely. But I feel like for you, the first 2 months of 2021, you're being seasoned by your higher guides and your angelic source, and I wish to tell you for them that they're proud of your efforts and your disciplines and you're gaining dedication on being able to say, I will listen, I do want to learn from my ancestors and my guides, and I do want to pursue how my soul can guide my life activities more. Do you understand this?
You are going to make me cry. This is hitting home so hard right now. You are actually my biggest inspiration. I've been listening to you for a year now. I did hear you from Lighting the Void, and it's been a struggle trying to connect with that higher self. You've actually given me reading before on Lighting the Void, and I was born and raised Catholic, and everything you said was rang true, and everything you're saying now, and I'm just in shock. Thank you.
Casey, one thing I'd like to say to you, you brought up a beautiful point, which is going to bless Kev's audience and the Lighting the Void audience too, and thank you for that, and we bless our Joe Aries for that. What this moon is, it's water. It's as I do astrology, okay? That's the last time I'm qualifying it. So as I do astrology and dance with the stars, the Cancerian full moon is about the waters of our body. So we may find that we need to go piddle more. We may find that we want to soak our feet in Epsom salts. We may find that we want to take a bath instead of a shower. Anything to be near water, to gaze at water, like Kev was talking about. They're doing drones all over important power points of Scotland for this New Year's Eve because so many people have been locked down. Anything that you can do, even if you put your eyes on the internet and just go on a tour of the oceans of the world, or something aquatic, watch mermaids, or anything you can do with the connecting with the ocean. And that also includes waterfalls in the mountains like I have here. I'm looking at a lake tonight at sunset on my time zone. I'm in the mountains overlooking a very still earthen dam lake. And so I'm the lady of the lake tonight on this full moon, and I'll be out there, trust me, I'll be out there looking over the lake with the full moonshine. But it's also a good time to cry, to juice, to purge, to take those herbs or those supplements that will kind of help you sweat, maybe to work out to where you actually feel the toxins coming out of your pores. But this is that moon. Don't hold back your tears. No. Don't hold back your tears.
Oh, my God. This isn't, like, I've never had someone cut, like, I've been looking for a guide, and I feel like I lean towards you and your knowledge, and I've been trying to read books, and everything you're saying has been everything I've been reading, but I haven't been trusting fully because I'm such a baby in this world that I am discovering, and you just touched the weight off of my shoulders. I have been, I'm in California, and it is pouring rain, and I put out all of my bottles to catch as much rain as I can because it doesn't rain here out in Southern California. So,
Mary, Casey, I'm listening to you two here. This is like so cool, guys. Honestly, because Mary, when you're in alternative media, it just tends to be the way that you kind of turn towards the negative. You're always looking at the really lowest kind of the vibrational stuff, some of the dramas in the world, and very, very few times do I put on a show where we can literally give people solutions to some of the problems that I bring up day after day, hour after hour, So to hear you two talking here, and to hear you, Casey, what you're getting from Mary here, I've got goosebumps for you. Even I'm sensing how good this is going for you.
I tell you, Casey,
you. I love you so. Go ahead.
Let me tell you something, Casey. The people, Joe and Kev, the people that the supernatural fingers of light and love, the people that the forces that are bringing us together as audience, as listeners, as podcast, as host, that we are light workers, and we are literally walking light into people's life. And for me, for 35 years, when I can hear a personal client, a caller, Kev, Joe, when I can hear someone say, oh my God, that's such soul confirmation for me. A weight, as you said, a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Then I know that I'm doing my soul work. Then I know why I walked back in this lifetime with all of the travails and challenges and joys and tears and laughter. I know that we're doing a good work. We've got to all, with all these Aquarian planets, we've got to all form that tribe of light, own our own stuff, continue to work on the fractures psychologically and things that broke our spirit, and move past the people that betrayed or envied or hurt us or kicked us to the curb. Let the mortal part go of it and invite the immortal calm of the soul to overtake you, because we have to, as antenna of spirit, we are spirit currently walking this earth for a while. Listen, all the ghost hauntings and the woo-woo and the spirit boxes and the Ouija boards and all that, if it kicks you into your soul, I'm all about it. If it takes you on some kind of magical mystery tour that leads you slam dunk right back into your ego or just the drama mama of it all, that's not me. I'm here to turn the key, to be just one small aspect of turning a key and getting the light rays that you have in your divine birth codes. You are a powerful soul. And when you said I'm a baby in all of this, none of us really, I don't think, know for sure how old our soul is. It's our intentions. It's our actions.
Yeah.
It's like, don't fluff your words at me. Let me show me that you mean it. Show me that you walk it. I don't want to hear you just talk it. I don't want to see you in your robes and your magic wands and all that. Let me see how you walk through this world.
Yes.
So happy New Year.
Wow.
Congratulations to you.
Happy
Keep on
New
keeping
Year
on.
to you guys.
Oh,
Thank
Casey.
you so much. I love this show, Kev. I'm obsessed with your accent. You are adorable. And I thank you so much for putting this out there and being a light, both of you.
Oh, thank you, Casey. I tell you, you've brought a vibrance to the show today as well. I can't think of a better first call for Mary to take on the Kev Baker show. And from myself, Anne, and my son Kevin, I hope 2021 brings you everything you want, Casey.
Love it.
As well, guys. Thank you so much. I hope to talk soon.
Oh, don't be a stranger. Phone in again, please. We'd love to hear from you. So we're gonna move on, Mary, because
Will do.
Yes. Yes.
I have never seen the call board like this. What have you done to me, woman? I said you were a scary woman last time, Mary, and now you're scaring me again, you see?
Kev, can I tell you how much joy that brought me? I have told so many people, they said, oh, how's this? It's so nice that you're back doing international stuff again. It's so nice. And I said, my favorite thing, although there are many lovely things, and the same thing goes with Joe. You and I, it's like you and Joe and I are like a tribe of brother, sister. But what I love is when you took that pregnant pause, as I call it, and I can't even do it as good as you, but you went, you're a scary woman, Nettie, but I like you.
Very scary woman, but in a good way, in a really good way. So now we're going to go
Oh,
all the way
love it.
to, well, this is a state in the US where I find the Kev Baker show is immensely popular, and it's Denver, Colorado. We're going to now.
Now, Leo State.
Oh, now area code 720. You're on the line with Mary. What's your name? And welcome to the show.
Hi there, Mary. This is Michael. Thank you, Kev Baker, for taking my phone call. Mary, I heard you last time when you were on Kev's show, and I think you guys are fantastic. I haven't literally ever called a radio medium of any kind or mystic, so I just thought I'd say hi and see what you had to say, see what's going on.
First off, I'm honored. I'm honored. And that's not to be taken lightly to me when someone can feel that they can risk a little bit of their intuitive vulnerability and like, okay, here we go. I've never done this before. So for me, I don't care how long I've done media, I'm honored every time I hear I'm a first-time caller. I've never called before. And so thank you from my heart and from my soul work. Thank you. Okay, I feel around you, I see like actually in the late 80s and 90s, they had those, I think they were called mirror balls, that there was when disco and all that was really strong. And I see that the mirrors, I'm a very visual psychic, I see the mirror tiles, if you will, or how they had them, however they put those mirror balls together, and it would reflect all the light and shoot it all around the room when you were dancing, or even if you were sitting at your table just enjoying your cocktail. It was a pretty kind of almost like people that go to rave parties and stuff, but it was almost like an indoor fantasy land. It was like so pretty, and color and light were dancing all around you, whether you were dancing or not. And what Spirit's telling me is that your external world now is going to be expanding, and I feel in your social life, as bizarre as 2020 has been, they tell me that, my guides tell me that you're in a process of what I call weed and feed, and they tell me that your social garden has been like plowed, and like there were things that had to be pulled up by the roots over the last 2.5 years, and there were certain connections or certain dynamics between people, family or otherwise, anybody that was trying to get in close into your world, be it sexual, be it family, be it work or whatever, that source, divine source, the holiest of holies, has come in and done some kind of weed and feed. And what they're showing me is that these light mirror tiles that are coming off this like mirrored spinning orbiting disco ball are the seeds that are going into an actual garden, a social garden, and I feel like that because you were willing to look in the mirror, hence the mirror balls, the way that you were like, wait, that person pissed me off, but let me take this back to myself. That really hurt. That wasn't fair. Why does that cousin or that relative do that to me? I don't do that to them. Why did all that and how you took it like Alice walking into the looking glass, and meeting up with the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat, and having all those realizations that Alice had to have of like, oh my God, I've entered like a fantasy world. So you went into your inner world and you went deep enough that you got beyond your own angst and your own ego, and you said, okay, what do I need to clear and cleanse? How might I ask my angels, my guides, and my prayers at Mass, outside when I walk my Mother Earth, how might I ask for the weight of that to enlighten me rather than me just to learn my lessons through rejection or pain or shock and awe? And they tell me that you've done really good with making a shift in your ability to perceive it. Hence, you're able to let it go much quicker, and you're not taking it as personal. And now, as you begin this new year, especially January, even though I know that's winter in the Northern Hemisphere, now what's happening is your dreams, your meditations, you're going to have these sudden meetups with people, like in a bookstore or like in a grocery store, and it's just like there's going to be new flowers, new social blooms that are coming into your life unlike anything you've seen for 10 years.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's like you're so ready.
I do.
Yeah, you're so ready.
I think, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Ahead. No, I just want to tell you that you're so ready to have authentic people and not the BS anymore, or speaking about a world of masks that we had to really look at full frontal. It wasn't a New Orleans party or a masquerade party, or, it's like mask. It's like, so for you, how you take it to yourself and you take the mask off to yourself, and like, no, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hold back. What you see is what you get. This is who I am, and I'm not going to put on a false face, or I'm not going to put on any kind of social alter identity anymore. I'm only going to have real and raw and sensual and great if I just show up and be who I am. And I don't care whether they like it or not. I care about love and I care about my life, but I'm not out to please you. You're not going to be a people pleaser at all anymore.
Michael.
Well,
Michael, I'm sitting smiling here because obviously I'm more aware of who you are than Mary. You're a complete stranger, but for the audience out there, I've got Mary on phone today, so there's no way I can type to Mary. There's no way I can give her anything that would be relevant to the caller that's on now. But I'm trying not to have a nervous laugh, Algo. The mask issue came up there, and I'm sorry for blurting your name out there. It's just how I know you, dude. I nearly fell off the chair when Mary said about taking masks off and being yourself, and I can't think of a more apt comment for you, bro.
It did hit me when she said that, and just so Mary's not out of the loop with what you and I know, I am the guy in the supermarket, Mary, that does not have the mask on, and everybody notices.
Good for you.
Yep.
I love it.
But I don't want to keep you. You got so many people behind me. Take good care. Thank you so much, Mary, for your time. Kev, thanks for having her on, and we'll talk to you again.
Michael, I will edit out your stage name from the upload. Thank you for calling, brother. Thank you so much. And listen, if I don't get the chance to speak to you beforehand from myself and the family here, be sure you and yours have a great 2021, bro. And it's been brilliant getting to know you better this year.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. Same to you.
Catch you later, brother. Catch you later.
Now,
we're
Kevin,
only...
I'd like to say something. I'd like to say something real quick before you go to our next patient caller. I want to say for you, thank you for saying what you said, because just so the audience knows that's much more tech savvy than me, I'm pretty much off grid in the mountains, in the woods, on a lake. So Kev and I, on the last couple of shows, would have cell phone drops. So for him to tell you that he's actually got me on the phone, I'm on an old-fashioned landline in the States here. He has called me on my landline. So, it's like the phone to the ear actually type of a thing. There's no screen. There's no chat room. There's no nothing. And Kev, I prefer it as a psychic because I'm literally not distracted by any black mirror screen. I'm like in Zoom, when people look at the visuals and all that kind of stuff, I'm actually just immediately zooming into their aura to their energy orbits and to their voice. And that's like raw, real, live. This is live. I know you'll upload it later for people to get a feel of the show, but when you call in, it's live, and you're getting Kev and I live like we do on the other formats that I do, because not many people do. They're all doing Zoom, they're all doing chat rooms, I'm not even on Twitter. I'm
good for you,
on
Mary.
Facebook,
good for you.
Yeah, on my public page is Cosmic Conditions, because I post astrological things. And like you pointed out, I'm an encourager. I want to be an inspiring intuitive. That's what I want to be. Now, I'm not going to give you pretty words just to puff you up and blow smoke. That ain't happening. I'm a Scorpio. That's not happening. But I want you to receive the message that gets you out of your quagmires and your leashes and the ankle bracelets that have you locked down in misery. If I'm going to be an alchemist, I want to get you to rise above your own undoing.
Oh, I'm loving it. Now, listen, we are almost on the break, so it would be rude to bring somebody on right now. But we've got 3 people on the line. I need to ask you very, very politely if you could wait till after the break, because that way you won't get interrupted. You'll have longer to speak to Mary. And I think, judging by the reaction of Casey, so brilliant to hear from Casey. She seemed really bubbly. Hope we hear from her again. And Michael as well. I think, obviously knowing Michael, I know how relevant part of that little on-air impromptu reading was. But listening to Casey, you were hitting every single point. You could tell just by her reacting to what you were saying, Mary, that you are absolutely on it. So if we need to do it on phone in the future, if you get a better reading, if you're able to concentrate more, I think we should just do it this way, don't you think?
Yeah, thank you for respecting that. It's like maybe it was because my initial training, I had a producer when I had my own show, Cosmic Conditions, in Tampa, Florida. You and I talked about that,
yep.
Geographical connection we have. But I had a producer, and it would be like he would load up the cute, like you're doing. You would be like the producer as well as the host, and he would load up the call. I knew nothing about him. It would just be like, he'd point line 2, and he would open up the lines. Hi, you're on the phone with Mary. Go.
Yep.
Like he was the one that would say, you got one question. Don't interrupt her. Let her tell you what she needs to tell you, and don't be greedy. And there would be people that would, Florida. There'd be people that would cheat and say, yes, I just have one question. Can you tell me about my whole year of the year 2000? I'm like, no.
Florida.
And the producer would bust out laughing. He would bust out laughing. He goes, oh, those sneaky, greedy people. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work.
I love Florida. I do love Florida. Yeah, McDill, I would go back to... I'd go back to Tampa in a minute, in a heartbeat. I really would. But we'll be back on the other side with me in Scotland, Mary in the US, and all of you around the world. Don't go anywhere. Hour number 2 already, and that little noise, that little beep there, that was the universe telling us that the phone lines are open, and they're open today because I want you to call in and speak to our very special guest, and somebody I'm really lucky to be forming a friendship with. Her name is Mary Dusina. That's Dusina. Visit marydusina.com. Mary, before we get back into the calls, what kind of services do you offer people on your website before we go back into numerous callers we've got here?
Thank you. Yeah, it's a lot of people have said, "Oh my God, I need to go deeper than just a phone call." Thank you. I do what I call holistic soul level releases. And so whether I'm reading someone's astrological chart, their birth chart, teaching them about the challenges this lifetime, and they have a preference for the celestial astrological, which is more yang. As I say to my clients, if you want dates and times, which I have 3 pages of notes here that I've already done for the show for the first part of 2021, yes, I can help you with your specific themes of the first part of this new year based on your birth data, your soul map, and how the planets are positioned right now. Yes, I can give you, okay, here's where your chart is being lit up. in 2021. And my clients in Florida, I would say to them, at minimum, I don't care what astrologer you go to, this is how I did it until I learned it. At least get 2 readings a year because you're doing your 2 6 months, and it's like, okay, what's facing me the first 6 months? I kind of want to know, is it my health? Is it my personal life? Is it my money? Is it my this? Where are the celestial spotlights of the heavy hitter planets going to be lighting up my own chart? So there's that, and I call that the magician or the yang, dates, times, okay, like planning things. I was a mystic first. I was a mystic and saw through people and animals and things as an early child. As we talked last time, I'm a 3rd generation of mystics, grandmother, mother, Pisces, and then Pisces at the top of my chart. So I'm a natural visionary. That was interesting to go through in my teens. I just thought everybody was. So that was like, okay. And so my fun thing and what I suggest my clients, book the intuitive psychic reading first, because that's yin, that's feminine, that's magnetic, and I connect with your guides in that hour or that hour and a half. And I do have a services page they can go peruse when you open up the website. Just go look at the services. And whether they have a certain animal totem, or they tell me your colors for the year, or they tell me, oh, this just popped up from your past. I think this year if you would just maybe accept a suggestion to work on this, a lot of things will begin to flow in your life. But they're showing, the guides, your guides, our divine angels are showing me, here's where you're stuck, here's where you're wanting to move. And I'm a bold Scorpio, so, I mean, if the guides say, I don't want to hear their crap, tell them this is what's going on. It isn't that I'm trying to dominate anybody's reading, but I won't play pretty. It's kind of like the Judge Judy of psychics. I'm not going to blow the pretty flames all around you to compliment you like a lot of...
You don't tell people what they want to hear. You
No,
tell
a lot of
them what's there.
charlatans do that.
Yeah.
A lot of charlatans, snake oil salesmen do that. They play on your vulnerability and they tell you what you want to hear. They pick up just enough about, they're really vulnerable, they want romance. So I'll tell them, you've got romance coming 9 months from now. So they put them on a hook for that long. And in Tampa, when I did my show, I would expose fake psychics on that. Now, you're on your own. I mean, I'm so big on teaching people to trust their discernment. You have eyes if you'll look. You have ears if you'll listen. So if you want to have somebody placate you, I am not your mystic.
Yeah,
I'm not
Mary,
your Halloween mystic.
It's funny you say that, and we're going to go to our next caller in a moment. But I spent maybe the past couple of years calling out certain conspiracies, certain topics, certain people. But I'm reflecting back later on in this part of the year, the end part of the year that we've just gone through. Discernment, it's something that I've honed and sharpened over the years, and as opposed to me being negative, because when you're calling these people out and when you're killing the conspiracy or whatever it is you're doing, it's a negative show. It's a very negative vibe, even though you're trying to do people a service. And from now on, really, I'll maybe have a laugh and a joke about the odd character to throw it out there, maybe somebody to be aware of. But I'm not going to be doing that anymore. I'm going to be concentrating on giving people the information and relying on the people, A, to think for yourself, and B, like Mary says, use that discernment. And I'm talking about when you listen to me as well. Always fact-checked everyone you can, because I certainly, I'm far from perfect. So Mary, with that said, let's not keep our callers any longer hanging on. Let's go all the way to Canada. Oh, Canada. That is a special place in my heart. Great people up there. Big shout out to Nancy, Polly, Dawn, all of our audience up there. But now we're going to area code 905. Welcome to the Kev Baker Show. What's your name? And welcome.
This is Kaz from Canada. Hello, Miss Dusina and Mr. Baker.
Hey, Kaz, how you doing? So, Kaz, I'm going to hand you over now to Mary. Mary, he's all yours.
Thank you. Welcome and blessings abundant in a myriad of ways on your new year of 2020. Such a powerful year of changes. Do you have a question? I feel like you kind of have a specific thing you'd like to have some insight on. Am I right?
Yes, correct. If that would be all right with
Absolutely.
Mr. Baker and Miss Dusina. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a first-time caller. I started listening to the Kev Baker Show probably about 2013-14, and I'm a firefighter in Canada. And in August 2011, I awoke from a coma. And one of the ladies my mom worked with, she was from Scotland. She was a very kind Scottish woman, and she has since transitioned, and I feel she is with the Divine Creator because she was a very benevolent person. But during that time, she, when I awoke from the coma, she told me that a church from Scotland was praying for me, and I was just wondering what insight you have on that. Thank you.
That's such a what a
Mary,
powerful
I'm
statement.
getting listen, this is weird. I'm sorry to butt in on the call, but I don't know if people can't see it on. Maybe you can. I'm full of goosebumps, like head to toe goosebumps, like weird feeling. Good weird, but weird. Has Joe ever mentioned anything about when you have callers calling into your show or anything, Mary?
I was just going to say you took a beautiful. You said it beautifully, but I feel when he was talking to me, first off, the electric lightning, the enlightenment bolts went through me when he said, in 2011, I awoke from a coma, and I'm like, whoa! It's like, let's not gloss over that divine manifestation there. Glory, hallelujah, glory. I mean, I almost stopped there, but the rest of what he was saying was so powerful that I had to follow it. Like, it's like, no, you can't pause on that. Keep going. He's got a lot to say here. Keep going. So, number one, your beautiful light ray earth angel that you met that had the church in Scotland praying for you and was your assigned karmic gift of this lifetime when you went through that. Actually, I got to tell you, what Spirit's telling me is that the circumstances that led up to the coma aren't as important, although they're impacting. It's the fact that you literally shifted while in this body to what someone like me calls a walk-in experience. I feel like that you were upgraded sacredly, supernaturally.
I was going to ask you about that too. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Thank you for the confirmation. And I feel that I absolutely feel she was an earth angel. A lot of times earth angels don't try to seek a lot of attention for themselves, like they're not out there with the eye show and to get applause. They show up. They know that you were a big part of her divine work for this incarnation. And I can tell you, you've known her before, as I see it. I'm not saying I'm the be-all, know-it-all. I feel like she walks beside you. I feel like she has a footprint in both worlds. And she's a soul shaman type of a thing because she was very selfless and kind and giving of her. She literally, Spirit tells me, besides the church in Scotland praying, she literally was putting some of her life force into you.
Wow.
Like into you. Like, no matter how many years I have left, I am praying for this miracle. I am praying for this. This man is not finished. He will touch lives in a lot of ways, and I will gift part of my precious earth time life force into him. And that's pretty much, she amplified herself like the church in Scotland was a battery. It's like a battery backup, like generators for houses over here. When your power goes out, you have a generator. So that was like her. Yeah. Like when I went out to do exorcisms, I took a Reiki master with me, and I said, you are my battery. I don't care what you see or what you hear. Your sole job is to walk behind me, so I've got that energy coming into the back of my chakras while I'm dealing with what I'm dealing. To save somebody on the front part of me, I need you to simply amplify the Reiki symbols and the light in through the back doors of my chakras. And she said, she was an Aquarian, and she got it, and she did it. But afterwards, she's like, oh, my God, that was really frightening and intense at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I don't do this all the time. So I feel like take that 180 degrees to the other side. Instead of an exorcism, she exercised like an exercise, physical exercise. She was literally lighting you up in a cellular way, in a core atomic molecular way. She spoke light into your cells. I can't say it any better than that. I mean, she spoke life back into your cells. She was a very supernaturally powerful agent in your life.
Well,
do you understand that?
Yeah. I have another quick question connected to that, if I may. So
Go ahead.
That how because not I did she was she so she was the walk-in, and was that to help? Because I believe that first off, I am free of all dark influences from my past, present, future,
Glory.
reality, all timelines, dimensions, and universes. Now, did she help play a part in some dark energies that may have been around me at that time?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
She amplified. Let me use a term that'll make sense to you in 2 words. She was an alchemical antenna for you. She had walk-ins come into her to fortify elixirs of supernatural energy into you to literally exercise and cast out any and all things, generational curses, family lineage crap of this lifetime. Right. She literally took here's another way my guide said, tell him she had soul laser capabilities, and she did psychic surgery on him.
Wow. Now, the woman, the divine feminine, I believe all men and women are divine. We just all have layers of stuff.
That's right.
I parted ways with a woman not long before the coma, and I felt that may have played a part in everything's connected, but what are your thoughts?
It needed to be done because who you were then is the antithesis of what you are now. I guess this is going to sound strange to a lot of people. I don't hold back what my guides say because it's not from Mary Dusina, the person. They tell me you literally died and resurrected because you had to give it all up, because you needed to be that person in the world that could say with authority, like people say, you don't have to jump off a bridge just because somebody else did, right? Okay, you don't have to go hang gliding just because somebody else did. Don't learn your lessons this lifetime with just shock and near-death experiences. Sometimes it takes somebody with a big baseball bat experience to get run over before they finally will say, okay, I'm listening. I'm not going to argue with it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I literally feel that's the gifts that you've been given now, because the reason that you had such resistance is because you're such a powerful warrior. This isn't to be a compliment. It has immense responsibility. It's not an easy job. You have a shamanic type of, and I'm not using that as a fluff-up word, you have a medicine man type of quality about you, and I would like you to find your niche. I'd like you to find the way, whether that's the medicine wheel or the aboriginal, I'd like you to find your way of ceremony, of your way of being able to enhance these gifts and get the word out, whether you end up doing a podcast. I mean, that's kind of like the modern thing, whether you end up, connecting your tribe with the people that further the work. I mean, you have a life story. I've not lived through a coma. You have an experience. I've had a car run over me. I've been thrown off a horse and had 9 metal pins put into me. So, yeah, I've got some near-death experiences. Yeah, 4 of them. But you went into the other worlds in a coma and was ready to leave, and when you were walking more in the other realms, and you came back.
Yeah.
You came back. You could have gone on, but you came back to feel flesh and bone and tears and laughter and joy and being able to let it go, because now you have the physical and sacred, spiritual. You have the physical reference, okay? It's not just I read about that story. That was like Kevin and I are hearing your story, right? You lived it. You went, it's like Rip Van Winkle. You woke up. It's like I say to people, my God, my connection with my Creator and my God, he got up. He rose up. So it's like you went through more than an epiphany. I'd say an epiphany times 10 is a type of resurrection. So you could have died. You could have died. You could have gone on, but you rose back up to stay here. Now, there is a responsibility, and I feel like that you might want to peacefully ponder how you want to, not that you're better than anybody else, not that you need to, walk around like a puffed up banty rooster, as we say here in the mountains. How do you Hold on, I'm going to bring dogs in because I got coyotes out here hollering. I'm literally in
Yeah,
the
I
woods.
could hear something in the background there, Mary. I was thinking,
that was coyotes. So I'm bringing my leashed rescue dog back in. Yeah, okay, I'm good. I'm a mountain mama. But anyway, I feel like that this is so profound around you. Have you been kind of questioning or like, okay, I'll just tell you, in 2021. There's going to be a new life book. I know you woke up from the coma, but this isn't just a new chapter. This is a new life book. So I want you to understand that you are not only the participant, not only the one walking through the story, right? You're literally the writer and the director. See the difference in all of that? It's a play within a play, but if you're a director, you can cut the scene, you can expand the scene, you make the final cut. So I want you to raise your consciousness that you're not just the actor, it's multidimensional. And I've said these words deliberately to you because I know that they've gone in to your higher self, and you'll be able to make sense of it.
So Kaz, how's that been for you listening to Mary there?
What's that? Sorry, say that again.
How's that been listening to Mary? How does that resonate with you?
It resonates quite strong. I've always, I've had the feeling that I had some sort of walk-in experience, although I can't say I knew for sure, but I just felt it. And the abundance, this whole year with all this COVID stuff going on, it has been we've had time to pause, and I just feel there's a lot of abundance coming not only to myself but soul family members around me, and
yes,
yeah. Would I be able to? I don't want to hog all the time, Mr. Baker.
Thank you.
Would I be able to ask Mary 2 quick questions, or should I just let you go?
Absolutely. I'm sure the other people on the lines will understand because this has been a tremendous call. Kaz, on you go, man.
Well, thank you very much for the listeners that are on hold. So musically, what do you see in 2021? I don't want to intervene on what I'll be manifesting. And if you could, how can I find out what the name of the church is in Scotland that was praying for me?
You can ask in your dreams. Kev may be actually a key that unlocks that too.
Okay.
But in your dreams. Okay, let me just say it to you short and I thank you for your respect for the listeners. Thank you, listeners and callers, for knowing that you're also a part of this medicine. If you're on hold, then you were supposed to be a part of listening and being enhanced by this man's story. Like I am, like Kev is. This is our medicine bag together. We're tribe tonight. Whoever gets in on the phones, whether you're on hold and you get through and you're on hold, that means you've secured your position, but whatever you're hearing while you're on hold is a part of your reading, period. Or otherwise, Spirit would have never let you get through. Now, having said that, I feel like that you are the instrument now, whether you played the drums or the guitar or the flute or the saxophone.
Guitar.
You are not just playing the gold or the silver instrument or the leather-drawn drum. You are the instrument now. So it is your lover. You are one with it, and I mean as in soul love. And so I had a shaman medicine man say to me one time, he looked at me, and he would do quick questions, so you absolutely had no time to think, and he said, okay, next life, what would you choose? What do you want to be? You have to come back. If you have to come back, what would you choose to be? And I said, a singer that could heal people literally with her voice. And he said, people are going to want you to sing all the time. They're going to chase after you. You're going to be in high demand. Did you bloom that out? And I said, no. And he said, okay, that's why I want you to think about it. Because it would be an in demand, and people would want to almost tear you from piece to piece, because if you could heal them, like with a Buddha or a Jesus, you would both be condemned and you would be sought after, hunted even your whole life. And I'm like, wow, no, I never thought of it like that. It's just the first thing that came to me. And he said, and that builds discernment. So, yes, music and color, the tone, the pitch, the quality of how we spell with our words, how we cast energies of either encouraging words or condemning words, first and foremost comes back to us threefold. But we all have to have more of a cognizant awareness of the tune and the tone of what we're casting forth from the instruments of our body. A lot of people don't ever get it, that they're an instrument, a magic wand, fire, earth, air, water. You've been awoken to that. You've been awakened to that. And I do feel in your dreams, I'm going to finish with this. I don't know why I feel Kev can help you with the Scotland thing. You guys can talk or chat offline another time. But I feel like that if you'll connect with your earth angel and say, in all harmonious ways, not to hinder you in any way, if it be so divinely designed, please reveal for me in my dreams the city, the province, the area, the region of Scotland, and what kind of church it was, and any kind of clues that you can give me on the church, because I would like to give back to that. I don't care if it's $20 one time. But the reason you're wanting that equation is there's a part of you that wants to either visit it, give back to it, thank them. It's just like, I feel like it's almost like you're wanting to do the infinity symbol and you're wanting to give back to them.
You know, Kaz, if you contact me on kbsdiscord@protonmail.com, and we'll see what we can do, man. I mean, there's lots of churches over here, but I'm sure we'll be able to narrow it down, and from there, I'll help you find that place if I can, brother, okay?
Fantastic. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking my call. And Miss Dusina, whenever you can, please thank that Scottish woman. Thank you. Bye.
I will.
Oh, Kaz, thank you. What an awesome guy. Awesome. So listen, let's go to our next caller. And we've got 4 minutes before the break, but don't worry, caller, because we'll keep you on during the break and then we'll come back to you after the break. We're going to area code 516. Welcome to the Kev Baker Show. What's your name and what would you like to ask Mary? Hello? Area.
Hi, this is Jessica, 516.
Jessica. I seen your name on the board, but I wasn't sure if you wanted me to read it out. So welcome to the show.
Big. Thank you so much. Big fan of Mary, as we are friends.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mary, love your stuff always, and I'm so glad and grateful and blessed to be taking my call today. And so what would you like me to say, or should I ask something, or is there anything that you want to tell me?
You don't have to. If you don't want, if there's something that your spirit guides are saying, ask for insight on this, then yes, speak it. If not, then I'll just tell you what I get in the moment.
I mean, you can tell me what you get.
Okay.
Very connected to everything you tell me, goddess energy, goddess love, and all the blessings that are coming through. So I will wait for what you feel.
Okay. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Divine Guides. Thank you for the congruency between Jessica and I and Kev. Thank you so much for the light and the enhancement. And that was just meant to be in higher, greater good. Okay. With you, I feel like, wow, I see like the old-fashioned kind of Red Cross type of nurses, like maybe I'm picking up on a past walkabout, but I see you as like that brave woman that would go right in, to help the soldiers or be on the battlefield. Like you're not what they call a shrinking, shy violet type at all. You're bold, and you charge forth, you reach in, not to get all the applause or the accolades, but it's just like in a crisis, you're the one that like takes care of what needs to be taken care of, and then afterwards just like, okay, I need to decompress a little bit. That was intense. Yeah. And I feel like that you've come from a line of actually hands-on, like first response, like in other lifetimes, like you've been the Sheba of the jungle. You've been like the one that saved the animal. You've been the one that would break up the dog fight. You've been the one that would be like, I got this. It's just like, and you, when there's chaos, you jump in and you do that warrior thing.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought, Mary. And Jessica, you stay where you are. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Well, I don't know about all of you out there listening tonight, but I feel about 2 foot taller standing in the face of tyranny when I've got Mary Dusina beside me. There is a vibrance, there's an energy, and I was explaining to the people on Disco during the break that that caller we had, Kaz, and I hope he gets in touch with me. I've only really noticed that same similar type feeling experience with one other person I brought onto the show, and it's been this year, and it's been with our good friend Donnie from Down Under. Can I talk about the tribe, the clan coming back together on a spiritual, energetic level? I think we're starting to meet some of the clan, Mary, but listen, people want to hear you, and they want to hear from our caller, Jessica, so I'm going to zip it, and I'm going to pass it right back over to you girls, okay?
Well, God bless Donnie from Down Under. I want to honor Donnie from Down Under, too.
Big time, big time. Thank you, Mary.
Yes, Jessica. Do you understand what I was saying to you?
Yes, I do. And I just want to say, you know, a strong Scottish thing. I don't know if you remember, my mother was born in Glasgow, so I have a strong Celtic type of energy also.
Hey, brilliant. You see, you're of good stock, you,
so
definitely.
My middle name is McKenna, so I'm connected to the McGregor clan and the McIntosh clan. So my mother was born in Glasgow.
Well, I found out,
right
sorry to interrupt you, but, you know, I was finding out about my own family on a stream recently, and I looked into one of the names that's in my family, McGruer. It's actually a version of McGregor. So listen, the synchronicities are flying, but less of me. Mary, over to you and Jessica.
Jessica, I pulled a card for you, and I pulled a card for you in the break, and it ironically, and I'm working with a traditional tarot deck known as one of the original ones, the Rider-Waite deck designed by the artist Pamela Coleman Smith, which is important for you to know. And the number 7 card came up, and this is in the major. People call them trumps, but when you study tarot long enough, you know that was kind of a bastardization of the word triumph. There are the minor triumphs, and there are the major triumphs in the 78 card traditional tarot deck. And so the major triumph card that's come to you is called the Chariot. Now, a mystical knowing of the Chariot is the Merkabah, and the Merkabah is the moving soul vehicle of light that can go out at dream time, that can go out with ayahuasca, that can go out with DMT, that can go in and out with hypnosis, that can, you know, transcend all linear time and space, because it is your soul star vehicle. So it is the uninhibited, liberated aspects of the totality of you. So it's like in Egyptology, you know, when you see and Ma'at is weighing the soul at the time of transition, and there's like the winged disc, okay? So like the Ra and the winged disc, so it ties in with that. It's got to do with wheels within wheels. When you think about the angelic thrones and dominions and principalities, it is the Ophanim. And the Ophanim are in Ezekiel's vision, the wheels with eyes within eyes, wheels within wheels, eyes within, that angelic divinity showed up with eyes all around the wheels and moving in motion. So this has to do with, and it's the card of Cancer the Crab, the full moon of tonight. So the Chariot in the tarot, the Chariot, literally he is one with the actual chariot, and there are Egyptian sphinxes. One is done in the black-bodied with the female breast, with the black body of like the feline character. The other one is a white yin-yang, a white lion body with female breast and the Egyptian faces. And so it has a lot to do with you coming into some type of needed balance. Like a fancy word for balance is called temperance. So that would also tie in with the 14th card. And the 14th card has Archangel Michael Mikaelalu in Hebrew, that's sounding the trumpet of rebuking any darkness. So there's something about you, like in Renaissance, it would be like the town crier that came out and said, "Hear ye, I bring forth the proclamation of the king or the queen." So everybody gathered to listen to what, and he unrolled it off the scroll, and he read what the declaration was of the king or the queen. So I see that spiritually for you. It's like there's a scroll, and it's unfurling, and it's telling you by February, March of 2021, such is now the task to embrace. And it stops there. Such is now the task that you are to embrace.
Okay. That's beautiful.
Make notes. Make notes.
Yeah. I'm writing. I took my notebook out before I called you because there's a lot of things that I had some sort of, but I want to do a reading with you too, personally. But
thank you.
That I've been meaning to do because there's a lot of things that I had one that very connected to Mary Magdalene energy, very connected to.
Yes.
It was a connection that this was in a thing that I was Artemis. I was a strong connection to bloodline of Mary Magdalene, working with Mary Magdalene in this incarnation also, and also connected to Signet, connected to healers, Morgan Le Fay. Morgan Le Fay also, which a lot of people are, that I actually was Morgan Le Fay in a past life. And I talk to people about that a lot of people seem to go into the dark, and I say, well, she was a healer at first, and I had this one reading where it said everything that you were healer.
Yep.
I'm a registered nurse. And I do and I have a huge thing about telepathy. One of the major things is I have a huge telepathy gift also. But
may I stop you for a moment? Let me stop you for a moment, and I want to thank you from my heart. I have a lot of nurses as friends and as clients, and I want to thank you as a divine agent on the battlefield of wellness and healing for what you see, what you do, and what you restore, and what you have to embrace when you have to let somebody go in this lifetime. So I just want to really honor the nurses on this full moon in Cancer. I just want to honor these agents. And I'll tell you something else you may not know. In a male counterpart, I see you as the sincere Knights Templar.
Mary, can I back up what you said about the nurses
I'm getting
there?
chills. I'm getting chills, Mary, because I'm very connected to the Knights of Templar, very connected to Joan of Arc.
Well, Jessica?
And I read something. Can I say something?
Yeah, go for it.
I read something because I was told that I was Artemis, and then huge connection to Mary Magdalene, and there's a huge kind of real connection between all of them. That. A healer, and a lot of people are misunderstood it. And I tell people when I talk about Morgan Le Fay, is I don't look at her as this evil person that she was portrayed like Mary Magdalene, more that she was portrayed as something bad.
Well, Jessica, if I may, I would like to second what Mary said, and that goes out to any nurses or any health workers. This year in particular, you should be thanked every year for the work you do. But I want to second everything that Mary said to you. And the fact that she hit on the Red Cross, brilliant.
I'm honored. Thank you, Mary, and I love you everything for what you post and share. I just want to let you know that
thank you, ma'am.
Everything
thank
I
you,
listen
ma'am.
to.
Thank you, ma'am, and I'll talk to you in the future.
I will. I'm honored, and thank you guys so much.
Jessica,
you do awesome work. Thank you.
Jessica, I'm very, very keen to keep Mary coming back month after month. Okay, so you be sure to call us again. Okay.
I will. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, Mary, just want to let I am at Mercury in Cancer, so I communicate emotionally. So there you go.
We can feel it, girl. We can feel it. Bravo.
Definitely. I tell you, Jessica, thank you again for calling in today. Thank you to all of the callers. Mary, I don't want to pause too long just now because we've got another caller on the line here. We're going to Canada again.
Yay.
You Canadians, eh? See, I know how to do that accent. Well, I know to add A on the end, but we're going to area code 250. May I thank you for calling in. Wish you a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a brilliant 2021. Now then, who are we talking to? And what would you like to ask Mary?
Well, thank you. This is Chris, and I'm a long-time listener of TFR Radio, and I absolutely love Lighting the Void, which is where I first heard Miss Mary.
Well, thank you for being a
And-
listener. It really means the world to all of us here. And I'm glad you enjoy Mary. I'm new to Mary's work, but I tell you, I'm a big fan like you are.
Well, I have something I'm not real proud to admit to. I quite often fall asleep during the show.
That's
Hey,
okay.
that's
You're
allowed.
taking it in on- you're
My
taking,
work day.
honey, Chris, listen, when I first started being trained in hypnosis and meditation in my teens, the group would say, you fell asleep again. But when the person was actually counting it down, like I'm 19, 20, right? And they're counting it down for me to come back, I was like right back. So I wasn't asleep because they said, okay, you're returning back into your body, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I was right there, and I had all these incredible experiences, no drugs involved, absolutely just taking the spiritual spiral staircase up. And so I knew then, okay, people really don't do meditation wrong, and we are learning on a deeper level when we, as you said, air quotes, fall asleep under something that's mystical or holistic. You're still taking it in, but your conscious mind allows your body to go in and recharge, and you take it in on a much deeper level. So don't shame or blame yourself. We all just have different styles of absorption and learning. And I was one of those back 30 years ago that was like, I'm doing this wrong. I mean, everybody tells me I fall asleep, but then the teacher said, you're right back there with me you're just going into a deeper hypnosis. So I kind of learned it the hard way too, but I want you to lift that. Thank you for that, the authenticity, but lift the blame or shame off of you, because I'm telling you, you're not doing it wrong. Been there, done that.
All right. Fair deal.
Yeah. Now, do you have something you want to ask me?
Yeah, but
you do.
I'd rather
I can feel it.
go with whatever
Okay.
you got to offer.
Okay. Well, okay. Hopefully the guides will move into that zone that you're holding there in your little internal diamond crystal ball there. Okay. Thank you, guides, for what I'm supposed to say to Chris. I get beginnings for you. I get the element of fire, passionate pursuits, inspiration. There's something that I see an inspired fire beginning to come through the mind, not just the soul. I feel like that the people that inspire you, the writings that inspire you, the explorations that after all the lockdowns that you're beginning to think about, after all this stay-at-homeness, look at myself moreness, I'm going to plan and appreciate more whether I go by car or train or plane. When that's lifted, when that's meant to be, I'll see that with different eyes for the rest of my life. And I feel that you're going to actually be drawn to a zone to where the people, the culture, the studies and everything are very conducive for you. Like, I'll give you a quick example, like being born in the Smoky Mountains, loving the Smoky Mountains, loving these Appalachian Mountains. When all of a sudden my guide said to me, for the next 10 years, you're to go to Sedona. You're to go to I'm like, I don't want to go to Sedona. It's like a psychic Gatlinburg. I don't want to do that. I'm not a groupie. And they said, you're going to go to Sedona only to connect with certain people, but you're going to base out of Santa Fe. You're going to go to Taos, which is less lively than Santa Fe. You got to go be with your ancestral Native American lineage, which I didn't pay a whole bunch of attention to. I knew I had the Cherokee, but the Indians, the First Nations people started coming into my life for a 15-year, 20-year period. It was like Spirit arrived it. I didn't arrive. They arrived it into my continents, into my life, and it was, to date, some of the most powerful, as above, so below, heaven to earth, magnificent experiences that shape-shifted me for my before life and my ahead life. So I call this an immortal effect, Chris, and this is what's going to happen to you. The immortal effect is when, even if it's not an easy relationship, someone dies, we break up, they're in our life and they go out of our life, a teacher, whatever, like the guy that called him with the coma and the woman that helped wake him up. Okay, that's an immortal effect. The person doesn't stay in your life per se, but you are forever changed because of the experience. So and mine were all ceremonial. Mine were like, whoa, that was an important ceremony. Wow, that was a great sweat lodge. Wow, that was a great drumming circle. And so from Florida to New Mexico to Colorado, Garden of the Gods, and all of that Southwest, what they call the Four Corners area, I was upgraded and enhanced. And then in Dade City, Florida, and all the new moon ceremonies that I went to and canoed and was with the people and did the grunt work and everything to have that the ceremonies taught to me. And that was my church. That was my level up. And something is going to do that for you. There's going to be an empowering leveling up that so kisses your soul in this lifetime that what you thought that you were bored or that, I'm kind of like life is lackluster. Oh, it's not going to be. It's not going to be.
All right.
So I feel like that 2021 is you, like on, how you take those escalators like at O'Hare Airport or Atlanta Airport, Hartsfield Airport, and you like instead of doing the big walk to the other concourse, like D is like way the heck across from the airport from concourse A, you're like on that conveyor escalator belt with your luggage, and you're already traveling into culture or foreign, like maybe you're going to do it on the internet or maybe you're going to just start studying certain things, but I actually see you like going there, like basking in it. Yeah, strong. It's really strong.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, so just open your mind and your heart to that. Of like, thank you, Spirit, thank you, angels, thank you, guides, thank you for in my dreams and in my meditations beginning to give me vignettes and some more pieces of my puzzle that I'm looking forward to accepting. It's going to shape your whole life. It's going to shape your work and everything. It's going to be like, I'm home. This is it. I'm in. 100%.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, I feel like you're going to know this by May, June of 2021. So please, please call back Lighting the Void and Kevin. Call back and let us know, because I love also learning, like you're going to go through it, but I love hearing how Spirit so opened the door for you tonight on this last full moon of 2020, and yet the portal then opens by May, June before summer solstice. So I love the feedback from these things that are like in the immediate future, and then when it comes upon you, for you to be able to call back in and go, well, since we last talked.
Chris, you have to. I insist you call us back in. Don't
Please.
wait until the summer.
I promise I will.
Yeah, but
Thank you,
listen, Chris, thank you for calling today. I hope you have a
Thank you, guys.
brilliant 2021. I hope it brings you and your family everything you hope for. Okay.
Great stuff. Thank you very much, Kev. Thank you, Ms.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Thank you, Chris. Now then, one last caller. Mary,
Yep.
this has been phenomenal, and the callers have been like, we just had the enough amount of callers to take us to the end of the show.
Yep.
We're going
Meant to be.
we're going back to the US this time. We're going to area code 919. Welcome to the show, and you're on with Kevin Mary.
Good evening.
Hello, folks. This is
Good evening.
Obsidian.
Bless you.
I reside in North Carolina in the U.S., and I wish you much love and peace on every step you all take.
Thank you.
How nice. I'll take it. I'll take it. I receive it. I claim it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I do not seek anything in return for that. Just want to wish you all well, given the peculiar, interesting, and totally ludicrous times that we are currently dealing with at the moment. So, with that, I'm going to leave the table open to you, Mary.
Thank you. Thank you for that medicine. That's very that's invigorating medicine, and I recognize it as such, and I thank you for such. Even though you held on, even though you were on the line, the first thing you wanted to do was to give. Bravo. Bravo. Don't think that went by me. I caught it full. Thank you for that, and I accept it and receive it and claim it as my own, and I know Kev does too. Let me close my eyes. I feel with you that there's a clearing. I feel a clearing in the wind of the body. I feel a clearing in the lungs. I feel that, there's terms like a breath of fresh air, the winds of change, but I'm feeling like, when you look at the word respiratory, it's where the spirit rests. It's the wind of the spirit. The old songs in the, whatever it was, 80s or 90s, the wind beneath my wings. So there's something about the movement of the currency of the breath and what you're inhaling and what you're exhaling. So I don't know if you're going to be doing yogic breathing or you're going to be doing Reiki type of breathing, or there's something to do with the wind and the air and the breaths and the winds of change that I believe, and actually literally, I want you to start noticing the element of air. So when you're out and maybe in spring you're gardening or you're excited about your herbs, I want you to start making a conscious notice of which side of your face, which direction, north, south, east, west, is the wind beginning to come towards you and get your attention. Because the wind, when you study the medicine wheel as I have, the wind that comes from the east has a lot to do with new beginnings. The wind that's kissing you and grabbing your attention from the south is blowing fresh healing into our childhood memories. And this full moon is the moon of the Madonna. It's the moon of the Great Mother. It's the grandmother moon, Mother Earth, and it's everything to do with feminine goddess type of medicine, the mother, and the power of a creature that's a mother, and all that entails, good, bad, and ugly. And I feel like, and then the winds from the west, when you keep noticing that the wind seems to be embracing you and hugging you and swirling around you from the west on the medicine wheel, it has a lot to do with our significant others. And if the wind is beginning to get your attention primarily from the north, it's you moving more in connection with your divine ancestors, your elders, ancient spirits, your angelic guides, your intuitive acumen. It has a lot to do with how the invisible and the grace and the glory clouds wish to speak to you. And that will be directly to you. It won't necessarily just come through a reader or just come through a meditation. It's when your guides go, yo, yo, I'm here. You know this voice. You've known it for eons, and I'm here. Do you understand?
Indeed, I do, and I am tingling all over at the moment, like every hair is just about rising on end, because a lot of what you said actually makes sense, because long ago, or decades ago, I did practice yoga, including up to as well as Kundalini yoga, and I'm very much focused on the breath as well as the breeze around me, and the harmony of that, the balance of that, and whereas water also flows, but air is much lighter than water, but yet a part of it, and flows about throughout all of life on this planetary body, for that matter. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've just been blessed 1,000-fold.
You have, and you know what? Why do you think they call it? Why do you think they call it wind currents? Because it's currency.
Well, I return that thought 1,000-fold to you both as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in today. I really, really appreciate it. May I wish you a really happy 2021, and I know it's been an absurd year this year. I hope you and your family have an awesome year next year, okay?
Thank you, my love. Thank you. I appreciate that. And back at you 1,000-fold, as she just said, and to your beautiful audience, to the Lighting the Void audience, to our tribe of light, to the clouds of glory, and amen, aho, to all of our ancestors and elders. Thank you for all we learned in 2020, and thank you for an easier ride in 2021. I'll take it.
Here's hoping. So, Fran, any final thoughts before we let you go?
Are you talking to me?
Or caller?
Sorry, sorry, just it's got the wrong name here. Have you got any thoughts, caller, before we go?
I'm just wishing all people around the world much love and peace, as I have done before, and that the wisdom opens up to them, that they can comprehend it from their heart center.
Awesome.
Period.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Take care.
So awesome.
Play
You take
hard.
care. Have a great 2021. And Mary, we are almost at the end of the show. Can you believe that? The callers took
Yeah.
us perfectly to the end there. I'll give you the
And
last
so it
word.
is.
We've got 2 minutes, so take it away, Mary. Tell the audience what they need to hear.
Okay, the emphasis that shifts from our stars and our signs and wonders in 2021 has two main zodiacal spices and flavors. One of them is Aquarius, and Kev and I talked about that on the great winter solstice over here, conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter coming together in Aquarius. The other is the planet Uranus in Taurus, and around January 6th, between January 6th and the 15th, going into the 21st when the signs change into the solar Aquarian phase, this is going to be the horse that comes out of the racing gate to run the race. This is going to be some of our first, as my spirit guides told me, we're going to receive as Earth citizens. We're going to receive individually what our soul lessons are. So I feel like that we're really to pay attention in Earth School January 6th through the 21st, big time, especially on the 14th and 15th of January. I feel like that we're to allow our upgrades and we're to embrace the light.
Mary Dusina. Visit her website, marydusina.com, and wherever you are, make it TFR.